AI is taking over. Dude, your job is done for. I just made an entire website with Chat GPT. Want to see it? Sure. Nice. I know this post will get zero attention, 2.2k upvotes, but it's time to consider a UBI in the wake of ongoing mass job displacements. As AI becomes more sophisticated, it will be able to automate more and more tasks that are currently done by humans. This will lead to widespread unemployment as people are displaced from their jobs by machines. A universal basic income would provide a safety net for those who are unemployed. It should happen before everyone goes into panic mode due to not being able to afford rent. Fund the UBI via a tax on corporate entities most responsible for displacement. $1,800 per citizen in the United States per month and $900 per child. I feel like AI also wrote this, right? The issue with this, beyond like the very simplistic fact that this is completely a work of fiction. We do not live in a world where even the premise of this makes any sense. The premise of this being UBI will help the displacement of jobs via AI. Will there be a displacement of jobs via AI? Sure. That's inevitable at this point. We just were talking about a situation where executives were interested in putting language into contracts for voice actors that they could use their voice through generative means if necessary, right? So jobs are at threat. And I say this from the point of view of like, I don't feel threatened by AI because I fucking build AI. People need to take a more empathetic view, a more empathetic lens than, oh, well, I'm not affected, so I'm not gonna care. These are literally one of those things where people should care. Like, there are some things out there where it's like, you could care about that, or you don't have to. For AI, this is one of those things that kind of jumps a lot of people's priority list right now. Government should consider training people towards more careers. Education in general should be a high priority for any country. For a long time, the argument was, we have the largest budget out of all countries for education, but the comparison to other countries by percentage was truly like, we are shorting the people here in America versus other countries like Sweden or Norway. We should also go towards just a general implementation of oversight for this kind of technology, so we don't do something like completely eradicate a particular skill set and let those people who relied on that skill set fend for themselves. Some people definitely have the right to be afraid because their jobs are truly in an unregulated jeopardy. Not to go backwards for y'all, but this was pretty solid. It has been a long time since there are real original ideas on how AI might improve it. I don't think so. Like, a lot of people who don't understand AI, right? The bottom line of it is a lot of the things that we see right now are responses that are generally overfit responses. All the things that you could get answered by things like GPT right now are things that have already been asked. To have it come up with a prediction that is truly new and novel is extremely difficult. A simple one is ask it to predict something beyond the data set that that is trained on, and it either comes up with a response that says we can't do that, or it tries and does it pretty horribly. Fast and Furious, how many times? But that's a formula that continues to win. You assume that AI wouldn't also find the same formula. You would think, oh, well, if we input variables that say, don't make a movie that's been produced already, that it would also coincide with make a successful movie. And that's just not the truth. The reason why people make the same movie over and over and over again is because there is large amounts of safety in it. That's not to say that movie creators are uncreative. That's saying that the executives would like to keep pushing that out because they know it can make money. Hey, actors, so we can reduce the price drastically, but it wouldn't. You're assuming these things. Those things wouldn't actually happen. Like, they would charge you the same amount and you would still like it. And because they're charging the same amount, you would still like it, they're making more money off of you now. Like, that's the issue. Like, there is no, we're going to get cheaper, we're going to get better for it. It's, we're going to stay the same, and no one's going to know the wiser. That's the issue. That's why this, if like there wasn't a whistleblower about their contract, and this was in someone's contract, and an anime comes out, and the next season, like, that actor or actress isn't voice acting for a particular character anymore, but no one knows the wiser, then this is no news. This is just oh, well, at least I get to still see the same thing that I've always experienced and wanted to experience. Your Netflix bill doesn't go down. In fact, it probably goes up. Like, the models that are required to run this thing, they cost a lot less money than humans, but they still cost money. And that's just movies. We're talking about all sorts of other jobs. Like, do you think cars are going to be cheaper because they have automation? Cars are currently more expensive if there's, like, autopilot functions on them. Do you think public transportation is going to be more accessible to people? Fast food places, they're going to try to automate away all jobs at a franchise. Cut out wages for workers, cut out any benefits you pay them, cut out any of the risks of insurance or anything because of humans. Everything is now a machine problem, right? And the corporate side of things take into account food quality or whatnot. And you create models and machines that allow you to quality check the food, whatever. Production line it out the window. You go to a fast food place, you type in your order, you come up to the window, you grab your bag, and that's it. The transaction's over. Like, that's something where, do you think your food's gonna be even cheaper now? No. It's gonna be cheaper for the franchisee to own the place. Their profit margins increase. People ask me a lot, like, are we trying to do XYZ with machine learning and AI? And a lot of the time, the answer is, whatever futures you're thinking, we can't really do that right now. But that technology will be available, and that technology will be utilized, and some people will try to do those things. Some people will try to do things like automate away roles, or decrease the demand of human interaction, increase the demand of, like, a robotic, quality-controlled product delivery system. Some people will be successful at it, and some people won't. But unlike, say, factory workers, where you're able to replace industrial, like, production lines with machinery, in this case, there's some places of expertise that are just too detailed. Like, the way people get clothes, after, say, a machine puts a lot of it together, certain seam jobs, that is all human still. If you've ever seen, like, an actual shoemaking factory, like, people complain about, like, humans make these shoes and that's cheaper than robots. Well, some shoes are completely machine driven. Other shoes require actual human factors to it still, whether it's because of style or the particular fabric or some sort of consistency in the product. So some places will be 100%. Other places will still be a mix. Technology tends to grow exponentially, not linearly. But what about the application of the technology? There's tons and tons of technology we could talk about that we'll never be able to implement. But that's always growing, right? Like the stuff I did for my PhD, that stuff will never be implemented, maybe ever. Definitely not in my lifetime, but that exists. The issue that we're talking about isn't the fact that the technology is growing. Like I said, we're always pro-technology. The use cases of it are the largest issues. There are people who are trying to not learn about certain systems and implement them and disregard all factors of like what it means to implement something at scale that is currently still in the phase of testing. They sold cars before they had to regulate the rules of the road. Why did they regulate the rules of the road? Because it threatened people's lives. So sometimes technology and the implementation of it comes before the consequences of it. Do we want that to be the case again? I would say no. I would say we should probably strive as the people who actually develop this stuff to consider the consequences as closely and as accurately as possible. Regardless of how you develop the technology and what you believe it could be used for, the actual implementation of it, that's important. Is the AI in my chat right now? Just one if you're AI.
One.